happening, Who Dat Nation? I believe that this minor fix can lead to major improvements for the New Orleans Saints in 2025. Take a hint. It's about penalties. So if you're tired of the stupid flags, the untimely penalties, and the undisciplined football in New Orleans, I just need you to do one thing, and that's hit the thumbs up icon, like this video. We're trying to send a message to the New Orleans Saints. We're tired of the penalties. We want clean football, and we want them to look absolutely stellar this season. Now, the New Orleans Saints were one of the worst teams in the National Football League when it came to penalty yardage. It's interesting, though. The Saints were tied for 10th best in total penalties with 110 total, tied with teams like the Kansas City Chiefs and the Chicago Bears. But the most penalty yards in the entire regular season are as follows. New Orleans, top 5. They are number 4 with just over 1,000 yards per penalty. Not ideal. That's a lot of times when the New Orleans Saints were either driving and they had plays get called back, or they were making stands and they were getting stops, and then you get a pass interference, or you get an offsides, or you get a holding. Something stupid happens, and the Saints unload the clip and shoot themselves in the foot. Penalties were a major problem for this team last year. Injuries, of course, were a factor, but penalties were a big, big problem. So I want to address the obvious with this situation. No matter who the quarterback is, they will be set up for failure if they are consistently finding themselves behind the chains. If the Saints continue to be penalized every single week in very untimely moments, then the quarterback, whoever it is, Tyler Shough, Spencer Rattler, Jake Haener, Hunter Deckers, I don't care. They will be set up for failure. The Saints offense accounted for an above average 55.5% of the team's overall penalties. So the offense needs to play cleaner football. In 2024, New Orleans ranked bottom 5 in automatic first down penalties. They need to be able to avoid penalties altogether, in my opinion. When it comes to the New Orleans Saints offensive line, I don't think that they did the Saints any favors in 2024. Of course, we have to address the injuries again. Obviously, Eric McCoy being hurt really was the snowball that led to a lot of issues along the offensive line in New Orleans. But they didn't do themselves any favors. They got a lot of penalties, and quite frankly, it was just a unit that needed to be much, much cleaner. And I don't know if it was the system. I don't know if it's lack of discipline. But I do know it needs to improve. In 2024, Trevor Penning led the New Orleans Saints in total penalties and in penalty yards. Taliese Fuaga, 10 total penalties, only 60 yards. Paulson Adebo, 7 penalties for 106 total yards. Gotta, be cleaner in that regard. Obviously, Paulson Adebo is no longer on the roster, so maybe you've kind of fixed that. I don't know. But Lucas Patrick, also not on the roster. Alontae Taylor, be a little bit cleaner with that new role that he has in the defense led by Brandon Staley. We can talk about 2 of these players right here, 14 penalties for 161 total yards. I mean, maybe the penalty issues have already been fixed. Is it fair to say that? I mean, when you look at the penalty leaders in 2024, Trevor Penning, Taliese Fuaga, Paulson Adebo, Lucas Patrick, and Alontae Taylor, I see a list of players who either A, aren't on the roster anymore, or B, will take a major jump. At least that's what I expect. Trevor Penning is now moved into the interior of the offensive line. Hopefully he can be still a mauler, but he doesn't get penalized as often. Hopefully this role in this position fits him better. He has a knack for unnecessary penalties. He had 3 unnecessary roughness penalties. Got to clean that up. That right there is a mentality, and it's a discipline thing. Just don't do it. Just when the play is dead, cut it. You don't have to overdo it. You don't have to try and knock somebody's block off every single play. Play aggressive, play hard, play physical, but you don't have to, try and end somebody's life every time. He did move from tackle to guard, like I mentioned. where he can be more aggressive, he can be honed in, and I do think that this is a good fit for him, and I think this is a good positional move, and he also echoes that feeling. At guard, you can be more aggressive. Obviously not super aggressive, but more aggressive than at tackle. Trevor Penning continuing to say you can just connect on guys and get on them early versus tackle where you've got a lot of space between you and the edge rusher. So Trevor Penning, I'm going to hone in on him. There's already a target on his back considering he is an aggressive football player, considering the style that he does play every single Sunday, and the fact that he's already been a very penalized player. There's a target on his back already. He's also a Saints player. He's also on the offensive line. So he's got to be careful. He has to have better discipline, and he needs to clean things up, especially in those key moments. We cannot have plays, especially big plays, get wiped away because of a holding call. We need to avoid touchdowns being overturned and called back because of stupid penalties. That is a big, big fix that can make, or a minor fix, I should say, that can make major impacts on the team. Now, coming up, more players that I want to see jumps from, more players that I think can succeed and thus have less penalties. Again, the whole theme of this video is little minor changes, and cleaning some things up can really make some major impacts in helping the Saints offense and defense, for that matter, be more productive, be more effective, and overall just find more success. Really quickly, though, got to tell you about the cutoff hoodie that we have. I like to call them shoodies. Some people call them cutoffs. I don't care what you call them, but I can tell you right now, chatsports.com/Saints Prime. This shirt was $55. Now it's only $33. The sale is limited, so be sure to take advantage. Link is clickable in the comments and description of this video. I made it easy for you to find. You can either click the link down below or just type this in your browser, chatsports.com/Saints Prime, and it'll take you right to the shirt. Go get it before it's gone. Now, let's talk about Taliese Fuaga. He did have rookie struggles. Like, that's something that we definitely need to address here. But I want to be very clear here. Just because that right there says rookie struggles does not mean he was bad. There was a lot of rookie struggles for Taliese Fuaga. He was responsible for the most pre-snap penalties of any Saints offensive lineman. So just clean some of that stuff up. The pre-snap processing, the pre-snap reactions, if you clean that up, I think we're much more confident in there. He did play well as a left tackle, as a rookie. It's a new position. He played there all 17 games. At Oregon State, he played every single snap pretty much, if not every single snap, at the right tackle spot. He is now moved back to the right side, and I think that will be helpful and help clean things up as well. And I really do believe having Kelvin Banks Jr. on the opposite side will be beneficial for Taliese Fuaga because you have two strong young left tackles, or young tackles. One of them won't just be bullied and picked on by the star edge rusher. You're going to have to, pick and choose which side you're going to rush from. Now, Fuaga, according to Pro Football Focus, didn't grade all that well, but I don't think that PFF numbers truly tell the story. He locked up some really talented edge rushers, including Myles Garrett, including Micah Parsons. He was absolutely stellar in a lot of games, but he did allow 6 sacks, 39 total pressures. He can clean things up from a penalty front, and I do have high expectations, not just for Taliese Fuaga, but the offensive line as a whole. If Fuaga can take the step, which I do expect will happen, I think that the Saints are in a good position on the offensive line. Trevor Penning, if he can pan out at left guard, they're in an even better spot. And if Kelvin Banks Jr. can prove to be the left tackle of the future, oh my goodness, this offensive line will go from a massive weakness and a laughingstock and a point of just being made fun of by other NFL teams and other media people to now being a strength. So I want to see this offensive line clean everything up. The pre-snap stuff, during the snap and during the play, have better discipline, be more prepared, and I think that, you get more experience that only helps this team out. Now, I want to hear from you because we have another player that we're going to discuss. We talked about Alontae Taylor. He's still on the roster, and he definitely got penalized quite a bit. Which Saint do you think will take the biggest jump in 2025? Kendre Miller? Tyler Shough? Spencer Rattler? Rashid Shaheed? Alontae Taylor? Did I say him already? Trevor Penning? Who knows? I want to hear from you down in the comment section. Now, Alontae Taylor, he is ready to shine in this new star position that he has on the defense. And I do think when you give him the ability to kind of move around and be physical and get involved in the play, you have opportunities to be flagged. However, if he is in this role more consistently, then you don't have to move him around from outside to inside to here to there to over there. Like, I think that having a more consistent, more defined role will help this player. He's very, very handsy in coverage. He had 3 pass interference penalties, 1 illegal use of hands, and 1 holding penalty. And Brandon Staley has actually had some success with a player like Alontae Taylor in Jalen Ramsey, a very versatile, very scrappy, very energetic football player on the defensive side of the football. Look at the stats between these two. Obviously, they are not apples to apples. Obviously, they are not the same player. I am going to go ahead and say Jalen Ramsey is a better football player than Alontae Taylor. But it's impossible to ignore the similarities between these two guys. It's impossible to ignore the fact that Alontae Taylor is extremely athletic. He is extremely versatile. And so if Alontae Taylor wants to be unlocked, Brandon Staley should look to Jalen Ramsey in order to know that is the role that I should use and the blueprints I should follow for Alontae Taylor. Now, don't get carried away. I'm not saying Jalen Ramsey and Alontae Taylor are the same player. I'm not even saying Alontae Taylor will be the next Jalen Ramsey. But Staley has had success with this type of player. So I think when it comes to game planning and when it comes to how to utilize this player and what to expect from him, maybe go back in time and look at Jalen Ramsey when he was working with Brandon Staley. Now, final thoughts on this video. The New Orleans Saints, they are not a good enough team to play from behind. Quite frankly, they need to stop shooting themselves in the foot. They have an unhealthy habit of absolutely just unloading the clip on their foot, especially in key moments. So for the Saints, stop shooting yourself in the foot, be more disciplined, and understand that this roster just isn't there yet in order to play from behind and dig themselves out of holes week in and week out and find success. Maybe in a few years, sure, but that's just not where this team is at right now. There will be issues. This is not to say that this team will be absolutely clean. This is not to say there won't be rookie moments. There won't be penalties. There won't be frustrating things that happen. That will happen. We will be frustrated. We will have what the fuck moments. We will get frustrated. We will be annoyed. It will happen. But let's limit the mistakes. Let's learn some resilience. And let's figure out how to avoid putting ourselves in holes to begin with. So that way we can just stay ahead of the curve. And let's learn how to be more resilient. So when we do dig ourselves in a hole, we can dig ourselves out a lot easier. Who Dat Nation, I do appreciate y'all for tuning in. Thanks for rocking and rolling with us. And thank you for supporting the show every single day. My name is Trizzy Trace Girouard. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Y'all stay golden. We'll see you next time.